Good morning. Welcome, and let's sing together. I am home. I am home. I am home. I have traveled far along this road, and now I'm home. Shalom, shalom. In the love of God, I am home. I am home. I am home. I have traveled far along this road. Now I'm home. Shalom. Shalom. In the love of God, I am home.
Good morning and welcome to Unity, spirituality with open hearts and open minds. Beautiful day out, isn't it glorious? Don't you love living in Port Townsend this time of year? Oh, just absolutely radiant with the light of the divine, as each and every one of you are. And I want to thank you for your prayers for me. My pneumonia's completely cleared up, and I no longer smell like vapor rub. And I know a lot of you have been concerned about Lane, and I got him to his doctor and then a specialist last week, and he received an iron infusion on Friday, and it perked him up, and he'll be here. He's running late, surprise, surprise. But he, instead of looking like he's fading, the light's back on in his eyes. So I can't wait for you all to see him. And thank you for your loving support and your prayers from both of us. This truly is a spiritual family. So let us sing, Come Light, Light of God, as we acknowledge that divine light in all of us, in the world, and in everything life brings us. Come light, light of God, give light to creation. Enlighten our hearts and remain with your world. Come light, light of God, give light to creation. Enlighten our hearts and remain with your world. Let's send out a radiance of light and love and peace and grace to the world from all of us. So come light, light of God, into our whole world. May we each be a channel of that light wherever we are. And so it is. Now we're going to unite our voices in singing, I Am Sustained. So I invite you to stand, and as you stand and we get ready to sing, just notice and do a namaste to the beautiful lights all around you this morning.
I am sustained by the love of God, by the love of God. I am sustained by the love of God, by the love of God.
I want to announce once again this Sunday that we are part of the Jefferson Interfaith Action Coalition. There is a new flyer out on the front table for this week that has a passage. The Unitarians are the ones through Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship that are doing the service this day that will be put on the JIAC website, and that people from all over the community will be invited to participate in, to watch, either come to the service, watch online, or watch the recording afterwards. The Presbyterian Church is next week with Sacred Spaces, and then Unity is on July 27th. We're presenting the message for our community of embracing unity and diversity. And the Unitarian statement this week is, many are frustrated and sad that our institutions seem to be falling apart. But often, living in Jefferson County bubble, the injustices we hear about seem far away. Today, we look at how what's happening nationally affects immigrants locally. This is a time where we are all called to ask, who is our neighbor? People of faith are working together to reflect, pray, observe, and take action. How does your faith tradition call you to respond? And so we're all called to think about this month, and the Episcopals put out a note for me to share that is, we must faithfully see beyond the limitations of tradition and not respond in partisan terms, but as Christians who seek to practice our faith fully and in a free and fair democracy. We do not seek the current predicament, but God calls us to place the most vulnerable and marginalized at the center of our common life. And we must follow that command regardless of the dictates of earthly power. We are now being faced with a series of choices between the demands of the outer world and the teachings of Jesus, and that is really for us no choice at all. And so we stand with our brothers and sisters of faith of all traditions as we remember that each and every one is our neighbor, is our brother, is our sister, as we are reminded not only in Christian scripture, but in the teachings of all of the world's spiritual traditions that focus on the power of love and grace to help us be more compassionate and loving and to transcend the challenges to that. So may we arise in love and light as a community, as a nation, and as a world, beginning with each and every one of us. So thank you for being a part of Unity, which is a part of this wonderful interfaith coalition that has reactivated in the last year after the pandemic, and of which we are a devoted and dedicated part. And now, David.
Good morning. Well, look how many people are here, and it's such a beautiful day out there. You know, usually that has a, but you're all welcome. I'm glad you're here. So, Pam's been talking about the feeding of the 5,000 and the miracle, and she's going to talk about that again today. And some time ago, I got this thing, and I think I shared it with you, and it said, "I believe, help me with my unbelief." And it's a statement out of the book of Mark. And it was Jesus was brought into a situation where he was asked to heal this young boy by his father, and the young boy had epileptic fits. And so they were sure that the devil had seized him or whatever was going on. There was an inequity there. And the disciples had tried to do something, and it didn't work out. So they went to Jesus and said, "Jesus, we're not doing it." So, yeah. And so Jesus went and looked at the boy and then turned to the father, and he said, "Everything is possible for those who believe." And the father says, "I believe. Help me with my unbelief." And what it was about, it's about that we are human and we have these, and yet we're spiritual. And what Jesus was going to deal with is the spiritual side. That's what he deals with. That's what God deals with is the spiritual side, not the human side. Human side is doubt. To this guy, I mean, he's tried everything. The Father tried everything. And says, I believe. And he wasn't saying, really, I always believe you, Jesus. He said, I believe, but I don't believe. Right? How many times have we done that? Right? Where faith and doubt are there, but they coexist equally within us. And we're called upon, I believe, to eliminate those doubts. So if I'm pray for something, and then I finish my prayer and I go, but, or I don't know, or what if, or does it? No, I've just canceled that prayer. No doubt about it, because it's aligning my consciousness and my ego and my beingness with the reality in the spiritual world. So when you pray for something, we do affirmative prayer here. And it's affirming that whatever it is that we're praying about already exists in spirit. That's why heaven on earth is available in our lifetime. It already exists. We just haven't aligned ourselves as humanity, aligned ourselves enough to manifest that. But it's there in reality. That new car is there in spirit. Now, whether or not that's in your highest and best may be whether or not that manifests for you. So it's keeping all of that in alignment. So as I went along and started messing with this unbelief thing, and looking at the conditions for a miracle, the conditions for my unbelief are also conditions that we can talk about, the conditions of prayer. Obviously, not all prayers are answered. So you go like, well, was it a dumb prayer? So why didn't it get answered? Well, there's lots of different ways. But what Scripture says is it could be it's not now. Either you're not ready or the situation is not ready for that resolution to come. Again, it's a part of that alignment thing. It could be not now. It could be that it comes in a different form and we don't recognize it. That's oftentimes answered prayers come in forms that we just don't recognize because we're looking for this and that happens. So it's part of our responsibility in looking for in answered prayers or miracles is to let go of the expectation of what it's going to look like and affirm and know that when you place it in God's hands, it's going to get taken care of one way or the other. Other thing that I looked at was when I pray for others, why doesn't all those always happen? Well, because the other may not be in alignment to receive that. Or I may be praying for something that they wouldn't be their highest and best, because I don't know. So that's why when we talk in affirmative prayer, we talk about the powers within us and the power of spirit right now. And we affirm that those powers exist, and whatever form that is to take, that's the form that we believe in. So anyway, so I'm going on with this thing with this I believe and help me with my unbelief. The unbelief is those outer conditions. The belief is I'm in my Christ consciousness. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. I believe that wholeheartedly. But then I look on the outside, and we've got these conditions. And they usually are fears of one kind, or false evidence appearing real. And so when I look out here and look here, there's a gap between what I know from my spirit and what I see happening out here in the physical plane. And that's where grace comes in, I think. It fills that gap. Because there are times in my life where that gap has been filled, where I wasn't lined up, where my consciousness wasn't very clean. And I was watching those outer appearances take hold, and those are my personal fears about those, and anxieties and questions, all got fixed by a point of grace that said, no, I'm here. You don't walk alone. So, anyway, as we move forward into this thing of talking about miracles and talking about prayer and those kinds of things, there's about 4 or 3 different things that seems to pop up. First of all, you got to stop thinking about the problem. Eric Butterworth and Emmett Fox both talk about that, the golden key. Stop thinking about the problem. Second, start affirming spiritual truth. You are a child of God. You hold that Christ consciousness within. All of these 12 powers are at your avail. We just have to get in alignment with them. Let go of the outcome. When we do a affirmative prayer, we close it and release it. And let God do what God does best. In the right and perfect time and highest and best. And that's what we're going to affirm and let go of and just let it be. And then finally, trust the process. Spirituality is so much about trust. It's so much about trusting in an unseen entity, energy that's out there. And yet we feel it all the time. I feel it all the time. I just know. I know that I know. I've had those experiences in my life where I've been very close to that. And because of that, it's never a question for me. Not everybody is me. I understand that. Not everybody's had that experience. But for those of us that have, and the rest of it, we just have to trust that, yes. And that's what Jesus talked about over and over and over again. Ye of little faith. You don't trust in this thing, right? So, stop thinking about the problem. Start affirming your spiritual truth. Trust the process. And then repeat, repeat, and repeat. Knowing that that takes a certain amount of courage. And that just happens to be the daily word. God within me is the source of my courage. Worrisome and challenging events may leave me thinking, I don't have the courage to face them. What I am going through may feel like too much to bear. Then I remind myself that as a divine being, I have all the courage that I could ever need. How I view myself as a strong being, how I view myself as being a strong bearing on how I handle moments of stress. Let me say that again. How I view myself has a strong bearing on how I handle those moments of stress. If I tell myself I am weak and unable to cope, that will probably be my experience. But if I affirm that God is with me and is the power to rise above any worldly situation, I can feel courageous, empowered, and strong. Stressful moments may leave me feeling alone and afraid. But with the presence and power of God within me, I realize that I will never be alone, nor need to fear. This is the source of my courage. From Joshua, I hereby command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. God within me is my source of courage. And so it is. Amen.
So now we get to settle into that sacred space where we remember our depth connection with that divine presence always, that abides at the core of our being, goes with us wherever life takes us, and in the midst of whatever happens in life. So let us allow our voices to unite and to carry us individually and collectively into the very arms of Spirit and the presence of the divine. Sanctuary.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I am a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I am a living sanctuary for you.
So settle in now, and I invite you to allow Spirit to gift you a place of sanctuary within this day that is also a place you know in this local area near and dear to where we are blessed to live. It might be North Beach or the Lighthouse. It might be under your favorite tree, sitting in the midst of your favorite garden, on the top of one of our local mountains. Allow Spirit in this moment to remind you that you abide here in this beautiful place, enfolded, surrounded, and uplifted by the presence of the divine as revealed in the earth and nature and all of her creations. Take a moment, journey there, and let Spirit make it profoundly real for you. Notice the beauty of nature all around you. Notice the peace that radiates from all of it. Feel yourself profoundly present in the midst of our world, exactly where you are and as you are. If you are still on the planet, it means you have gifts to share and gifts to receive in the grace and the flow of the divine. Settle in here and be in gratitude for all that has brought you to this moment, the things that you understood, the things you didn't at the time, the things that brought you sadness or joy. All of them wove together to create you as you are and this holy moment. Accept yourself in this moment exactly as you are. You don't have to be better or different. You are a divine spark of the divine, and you are the presence of that light and love. And you are a unique soul with unique experiences and gifts and a unique presence that you alone can bring to this shared world. open in willingness now to allow your light to shine wherever your sanctuary is in this moment, and to radiate out to the world, and at the same time to feel love and unconditional acceptance to return to you on that divine flow. In this place of grace and awareness and gratitude, bring all of the prayers that are yours this day for the unfolding of your own life and soul, as well as our collective life and soul together. Bring your prayers now, and into the beauty of nature, gently release them lightly with a heart overflowing with gratitude that you get to be a channel of prayers and blessings for yourself, others, and the world. Let us now pray. Feel yourself blessed and blessing as you also now uplift all of the prayers of the High Watch prayer chaplains and of everyone praying in unity this day, each as an individual but also as part of a whole. Gather your life up and you up exactly as you are, with a new awareness and a new sense of gratitude of who you are and what your life brings this day. And ahead of you, send forth a great wave of loving, living light and grace, filled with the gratitude for the unfoldings yet to come, that in this moment you bless and agree to consciously be a part of their unfoldings. And now, as you prepare to relink inner and outer sanctuaries into the true oneness that they hold, hear these ancient words of blessing from Psalm 26 to inspire you during these times to doing your own soul growth and journey to bless and to be blessed. Psalm 26. Speak on my behalf, O beloved, for I would choose the path that leads back home, trusting in your love without reserve. May my heart be as your heart. May my mind be as your mind. May your steadfast love guide me as I live according to your will. You, O Counselor, are my strength and my guide, so I choose the path of peace and wholeness. I walk with friends of integrity and associate with those who live in truth. I love the company of faith-filled people, and I count myself among those who make your word their own. Cleanse my heart in innocence that childlike I might be, singing songs of thanksgiving and proclaiming the beloved's way. O loving presence, I cherish your dwelling place, my heart. Oh, that I may radiate love divine. keep me always in your presence, ever ready to praise your name. Make me holy, complete in you. Write my name among the saints. For I choose the path of peace and wholeness. The counselor is my strength and my guide, standing with equanimity in heaven's blessed company. I shall know love and peace beyond the world's understanding. Blessed are you, O my beloved. And so knowing this presence of the beloved and being this presence of the beloved, allow the beautiful sound of the harp and our voices to unite inner and outer sanctuaries, but also embodiment in spirit, heaven and earth sanctuary.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary for you. Love, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary for you.
And so it is. Om, amen, and blessed be. And now the gift of special music.
This is a song we've done before, that you have sung before. So if you hear the melody, if you want to sing out, go ahead. I may sing, I may just let the harp sing. We'll see. Wait. Oh, I did the wrong lever. I am so sorry. Oh. I have these sharping levers, and you have to have them set just right for the keys. So, oh no. Wait. Let me, let's have a little do-over here. Sorry about that. Okay, I just... Smiling faces, thank you. Technical issues. So let me just double check everything here. Okay, in the right key. Okay, one more time.
hearts. Oh, we're going to be talking about the feeding of the 5,000, which is the only miracle of all of them that is found in all four Gospels. So it's very significant. And I love her singing Open My Heart, because to create a miracle, you have to be able to open your mind to new possibilities and to envision it, but you also have to open your heart to move it forward out of the world. You can have wonderful thoughts, but if love doesn't call you to share it, they just sit inside here, which is nice for you, but doesn't help anybody else. And I love that the number is 5,000, because the number 5 represents the 4-square foundation of things. You've got the 4 elements, the 4 seasons. 4 is a very significant number, and 4 square is what makes a box. And it can either be a box that encloses you and limits what you think, or it can be a box that's a foundation that's solid upon which you stand and live your life and do miracles and notice miracles that happen all of the time. And so you've got this 4-square solid embodiment, and into it drops 1, which is divine presence. And in this, it was in the story, it was all the people that were present, and then Jesus bringing that consciousness of the divine right into the middle of all of them. And this is meant to be a story that is symbolic. Realistically, can you imagine having one basket and just how long it would take to pass it among 5,000 people? It takes us a few minutes to pass 2 baskets here. And so it is meant to be an embodiment, absolutely, but one that is an embodiment of spiritual awareness and understanding. And there was a book that came out about 15, 20 years ago called The 12 Conditions of a Miracle by Todd Michael. And when I found it, I did a series at the time. And it's such profound and important information that I wanted to share it again. And I even did handouts, so you don't have to worry about trying to remember what the steps are to creating a miracle. And this all comes from him looking at the feeding of the 5,000, the miracle of the loaves and the fishes, and seeing how did Jesus give us an example that was so profound that it's found in all 4 Gospels. What can we draw from it? What can we learn from it? The version that he uses comes from Matthew 14, 13 through 21. So I'm going to read it to you to set the stage. Now, when Jesus heard this, he withdrew from there in a boat to a deserted place by himself. But when the crowds heard it, they followed him on foot from the towns. When he went ashore, he saw a great crowd, and he had compassion for them, and he cured their sick. When it was evening, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is now late. Send the crowds away so they may go to the villages and buy food for themselves." Jesus said to them, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." They replied, "We have nothing here but 5 loaves and 2 fish." And he said, "Bring them to me." Then he ordered the crowd to sit down on the grass, and taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, he looked up to heaven and blessed and broke the loaves and then gave them to the disciples. And the disciples gave them to the crowds. And all ate and were filled, and they took what was left over of the broken pieces, 12 baskets full. And those who ate were about 5,000 men, women, and children. So that's quite a scene, isn't it? Can't you relate to the disciples? Look at all these people. Let's send them home to eat, and then they can maybe come back tomorrow if they want. And Jesus said, no, they've gathered together. There's an energetic field that has been created here by each one of these souls that has gathered here, and we're not going to break it up. We're going to keep it together, and we're going to handle it. And they said, but this is what we've got to serve. I remember when I first married Lane, I was used to cooking for 1 or 2 people, and suddenly there was this entire family. And no matter how much I cooked, I always wondered if it was going to be enough. So I have real empathy for the disciples. The family's coming over. Is there going to be enough food for everybody? Yes. When there is faith, there is always plenty of food, whether it's physical, mental, heart, or spirit. There's always enough, which is kind of the opposite of what our culture tends to say. So there are 12 conditions, and I separated them into 2 sets of 6. The first is creating the miracle. And this has to do with that centering in your mindset and co-creating with the divine. We're told in Genesis that we're made in the image and likeness of God. The image and likeness, not a photograph, but the energetic image and likeness. And the divine is a creator. Creative energy is how the whole story begins. And so we by nature are creative beings as well, whether we're aware of it or not. And being in New Thought, we know that as we think, so our lives unfold. So we're creating with our thought patterns. It's not so much what's happening to you, it's how are you perceiving it and interpreting it. The same thing can happen to 4 different people, and each one will look at it differently. Some people go into grief or into fear. Some go into stillness and quiet. Some go into gratitude, even before they see what blessing is going to come out of it. There are different ways to encounter the world, but aligning your thoughts, your perceptions, so you can perceive the blessings that are already there is how you begin. And then the second part is, okay, I believe, now can I open my heart enough to receive them and then to give and to share what I have, to be part of that divine flow that is the presence of God, that is love. And so you can see the first 6 conditions are emptiness, alignment, asking, maximizing, giving, and grounding. Grounding, that 4 square box into which the presence of the divine comes. So we begin with emptiness, releasing and creating a space for a miracle. So often we're so attached to what we want to see happen that if we can let go of that grip and open our hands and relax, we can then receive and give. So creating a creative void. They always say, the scientist, nature abhors a vacuum. It will fill it up. Those of you who are clearing out your houses for the garage sale right now, those empty drawers a year from now will probably be a vacuum that has been refilled. It's the way nature goes. And so to be able to open to something new, you have to create that womb in which it can be created. So the first thing that Jesus does before all of his major miracles and teachings is to go apart. You read it over and over. He goes apart from the crowds, from the outer world, and goes into nature, apart from everyone, and connects with the divine within him and in the world by being still. We've got our wonderful mantra here at Unity: peace, be still, and also be still and know. Both of those are perfect pieces to use as you're seeking to create that open space that new things can be born in. The actual Greek word that was used is anakoresin, which means to withdraw from the outer and the ego. So it's shifting from expectations into possibilities. And he was to do it in a place of potential, which was out in nature, topon, and he was to do it in Eramon, which is a desert or an empty and place of solitude. In the book, he says, Jesus went away into the desert alone. There he withdrew his self or ego by going down into a state of emptiness and inner stillness, a place or condition of potential. H. Emily Cady in Unity said, wait upon the inner abiding Christ often, just as you would wait upon any visible outer teacher. So begin with emptiness. Begin with possibility. And then the next one is alignment. It's aligning with the presence of the divine that you can do when you get still and quiet in a way that's hard to do in the midst of the world. Jesus was visited by the Magi on his birth, the wise ones. He went to Egypt when he was young and would have studied there. So he unlocked the mysteries, and there are a total of 35 miracles in the Gospels. So this miracle is part of his teaching and his living example of who and what we are meant to be. And by miracle, it's not an exception separate from nature. It's a higher working of natural law. That's a completely different way of viewing miracles. Growing up, I thought, oh, that's something somebody did out there or Jesus alone could do. No, it's working the natural law at a higher level. And so you prepare yourself and then you align with that sense of higher energy. Henry Ward Beecher said, love is the river of life in this world. And Charles Fillmore called love the great harmonizer. And so to align with this divine presence opens you up not only to the divine presence within you, but also in the world around you. So you go into that still place, and then when you open your eyes, you feel it here and here. You perceive it everywhere. And this is the piece where he comes ashore, and he is so moved by compassion that he responds and heals people right there on the shore when he comes ashore. I can just picture him being off by himself, and then he comes back, and there's this crowd of people. And instead of turning around and withdrawing again, he has filled himself and aligned himself with the divine, and so he can then offer it. The word is esplanchiosifti. That one I had to practice, which is filled with compassion. His first response on re-encountering the outer world, now that he's in alignment with the divine, wasn't judgment, it was compassion. That's where he begins. And so as we move into seeking a miracle, Our goal must be to include also the greater good of others. Your success in working with miracles, Todd Michaels says, will be directly proportional to the care you exercise in this area. That's why when I do prayers, it's always highest and best for all and right and perfect time. So in alignment, you're not only aligned within, you're now aligned in a whole new way with the world. The next thing comes with asking. The disciples came up and said, hey, can you help us? Can you send them home? Was their first thought. And he said, no, it's not necessary to send them home. And so this is this incredibly powerful demonstration of you begin with asking. In the classic stories of the Holy Grail, the search for the Grail, the magic moment of shift comes not with discovering and finding, it comes with asking a question that then opens you up to the potential of finding. When you're asking a question, you're curious. When you're asking for assistance, you're saying, there's blessings all around that I want to open up to and receive. And this aligns also with that seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all else will be added unto you. Ask, knowing that as you ask, so it is already unfolding. And you don't have to send everybody home or start in a different place. You begin right in the energetic field you're in this moment, whatever it might look like. And you ask, focusing on that which you really want to receive, not the thing as much as how does it feel. Because when you add the feeling to it, you empower the depth of it. So now that you've asked, you open your eyes and you begin to maximize. And I've always loved this because I've always heard that the way you create miracles is begin with a recognition of all of the pieces to make it happen that are already around you, that you haven't noticed or paid attention to. There are pieces there always that are calling you to accept life on life's terms right where you are, and to recognize there are pieces of bread and little fish all around. All you have to do is notice that they're there. And so they say there's nothing here except 5 loaves and 2 fish. And what did Jesus say? Bring them here. That's not enough. Send them away. He saw they had the seed for that which could grow into everything that everyone would need. I've always loved him using the example of the tiny mustard seed that becomes one of the biggest plants in the Middle East. And if you have that much faith, look what will happen. But start with the seed that you have right now. Believing is seeing, not seeing is believing. Believing is seeing. Flip that around. Wayne Dyer says, change the way you look at things and things you look at will change. So it's your awareness. A miracle worker always sees the supply that exists before him or her as the perfect beginning. What you need to begin is here. And so this makes use of the existing pieces that we have, and what we focus on expands. So accept, recognize, and then maximize it. The next piece, as you open to let things grow and expand and notice what's around you, the next step is giving. Interesting, giving comes in this inner mind shift. So much of our culture tells us we must amass and hold on to rather than to give and to share. And so what flows away from you that you give will flow back to you, 10-fold, 100-fold. And so it's recognizing that giving is part of shifting your perception of how the world works. And he said, we have nothing but these 5 loaves and 2 fish, bring them to me. And he accepts them and then gives them, not directly to the 5,000 people to start with, he gives them to the disciples, to that inner circle who are holding this belief system with him, and then saying, you carry it out into the world. He was preparing them for carrying the message and preparing all of us for knowing that as we receive divine blessings, that we get to be the ones that pass them on to the world, like the disciples did in this story. And one of my favorite pieces that is probably more tradition than in the actual scripture is that the loaves and the 2 fish actually came from a little boy who, when the disciples said, we don't have food here, a little boy came forward and said, here, Jesus, I have this. So be like a child, have the trust and faith of a child, and offer what you have without hesitation. Give. Don't worry about whether it's the best or not best way to do it. Be generous and give as you're called moment to moment in your life. Then your whole grounding is based in faith rather than fear. And then grounding is number 6 as we prepare the way. And this is be present as much as you can. Remember that foundation and then bring the presence of Spirit and God into it. And this is one of my favorite parts that I didn't notice until I read this book, which is, he says, bring them what we have now, and then he looked and ordered the crowds to sit down upon the grass. Ground yourself. Be present where you are. Mother Earth that sustains and nourishes us always is right beneath our feet. If you haven't walked outside barefoot in a while, do that. And you feel the energy of the earth and of nature. And you walk literally in the presence of the divine on Mother Earth. And he told them, sit down. Sit on the earth. Become so grounded that you're really present here. You're not wondering, what's he going to talk about tomorrow? You're not wondering, what did I do yesterday? Not wondering, what's he going to do about all of this? But being present in that moment, maybe asking that question, what's he going to do? Because in asking, what is he going to do, you're curious and you're open to see what happens. That is a miracle mindset, to be open to see what can happen in ways that perhaps you least expect. So he recognized that they needed to be present and grounded and then move forward from there. And so now that we've created the field together to create a miracle, next week you need to come back for the second set of conditions, which has to do with accepting the miracle. And as we do that, how you receive it and then be the channel to express it is getting it. That's a good place to start. Gratitude, acting as if, we're taught to do that in unity, engaging the cycle, the flow, receiving, really receiving consciously, and then recycling. Knowing that everything you've learned and everything you've done has given you the pieces that are the fragments of bread and fish that are all around you for you to then become aware of as you get ready to do your next miracle. Because it's a never-ending cycle of divine presence and flow. So the feeding of the 5,000 is how we feed. We are fed ourselves and how we feed the world. Let us pray. Oh, sweet, sweet Spirit, abiding presence of the divine. It is through us that the world is offered. divine presence in a personal way with skin on. Whether we're sharing in the outer of loaves and fishes, or in the inner realm of heart with compassion and unconditional love, with the blessings of thought as we perceive things with greater light and love than ever before, with new possibilities, and as a soul who gets to grow and learn and share through this experience we call life that is truly a journey of soul. May this week we all practice miracle consciousness, extraordinary living in the midst of our lives exactly as they are, and we exactly as we are, even as those 5,000 who gathered in that field. So we gather now, being willing to be so grounded and embodied that we become channels for the heaven on earth that we are called to be channels for. For this we are so profoundly grateful, and we open in willingness to have the eyes to see and the ears to hear the sound and the sights of miracles unfolding all around us and within us, each and every one. And so it is, Om, Amen, and blessed be. Oh, so now you want to embody it? Stand up and let's sing. We're going to sing a wonderful song that is, I'm Looking for a Miracle. How is that for the perfect song? Thank you, Clara.
This is really part of a song, but the way I love to turn a song into a chant, that's what's happening. I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I expect the impossible. Oh, sorry. Visible. Sorry. I'm on malfunction. I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible.
And we got to feel the intangible and see the invisible. We're
That's right.
practicing already. Please be seated.
Well, I think the people in the back room are looking for a miracle. So, when you switched made your little thing, I thought, that's all we got to do to get in alignment, right?
That's
I mean,
right.
I didn't necessarily hear that was a half
Yeah.
a step off, but you did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you did, because you're attuned to that. All we
Right.
need to get attuned to what Spirit is saying, flip the switch,
That's right.
so we get in tune, and there we are.
Good.
Hey, look at that.
Good lesson.
Woohoo!
So this is the time of our service where we receive the offering, so I invite you to take out your offering, and we'll bless it as we do here each week. And together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful.
There is more than enough.
Sweet, sweet Spirit, Mother, Father, God, there is more than enough. There is more than enough of God to go around this whole planet, this whole universe, and beyond. There's more than enough of us to carry the light. There's more than enough resources for all of us to be able to share, to live abundantly, and live in harmony. So, again, it goes back to the eyes to see, the willingness to do, the expectation of a miracle. And it's up to us, each of us. And as we collectively hold that space for that miracle to happen, it will. And we all have to do our part towards that. So we receive these gifts, we carry them through this community onto the larger community and across the planet with the intention that each may find themselves as a miracle worker, holding the space, creating heaven on earth. And let us do that in our lifetime. And so it is. Amen. And speaking of miracles, we now have a... Oh. Speaking of miracles, we have announcements. First of all, I want to thank Sharon for holding the high watch today. Sharon's holding the high watch today. And she's available for personal affirmative prayer following service. So if you have something that you want to pray about. Are we worried about somebody here? Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. Hold that thought over there while I get this part done. So anyway, she's available for personal affirmative prayer following service. Prayer box in the back of your sanctuary will be held for, your prayer requests will be held for a week, and then we send them on to Silent Unity for 30 days additional prayer. Put it in the box and expect a miracle and see what happens. Speaking of miracles, is that you back there, Zelfa? Well, hi, welcome back. For you that don't know, Zelfa's gone through a journey of healthcare systems lately, and so welcome back. It's good to see you back there. Let's see, we got a couple things going on. We got lots of things going on. Matter of fact, Monday, the Baha'is meet at, no, not this week, excuse me, that's next week. Monday, tapping, EFT group meets from 5:15 to 6:15 back in the Hearth Room. So that's going on Monday. There's a number of prayer and meditation groups that are available for you to partake in. They're on the website. We've got a big picnic coming up on Saturday. So on the foyer is lists. We need you to let us know if you want a carnivore or an omnivore or a herbivore a choice for your entree, and we'll make sure that gets taken care of in forms of picnic food. Also, we need some help with setup, and we're going to need some help with takedown. Those are back there. Plus, everything else is kind of all covered. Bring a dish to share. And this is Unity, so we have lots of loaves and fishes, so feel free to share with those. I think everything is covered. Is that right, Zed? Yep, pretty much covered? Okay. So if you, garage sale's coming, don't worry. Jeez. If I say let's close the circle and I haven't covered all, let me know, okay? All right. There is a new opportunity. It's called Quick Divine into Soul College. And collage. You know, it's like the book of theologians. Collage. Oh, no, that makes sense now. Oh, well, it all comes together. Anyway, check the flyers. They're out on the table. It's coming up on the 26th, so we'll know more about that, and I can speak better to it coming up on the next week. Yeah, we got a garage sale. So Pam alluded to it in her talk. So as you clean out, we're ready for you. It's coming up the 1st and 2nd. there's something you need to get hauled away, let us know in advance, and we've got a couple of trucks. So Betsy's got her finger up, so that means that we've got problems. There's some more.
Just how do you get stuff in here if you have contributions?
Well, we will get, you just save it. And then the week before, we'll collect it. Because we're going to have to stash it. We have a major construction project going on but it may be over by then. We may have, you may walk in the building next week and it may be completely altered in the front end. And then again, it may not. So, but I'm thinking by August 1st and 2nd, it's going to be open. That's for sure. We're going great guns back there. And for you that don't know about it, that's okay. Just walk down the hall and take your first left, and you'll find it. Okay, garage sale. You just want to say anything about that, Carl? Other than you're going to be a truck. Betsy? Oh, a bake sale along with the garage sale. Well, all right. So we'll bake things along with the garage sale when we get closer to that, okay?
No, they can sign up now. Yeah, they need to sign up now.
Is there a sign-up sheet for that? Yeah. Oh, that's what you're trying to tell me. Okay. There's a whole table of sign-up sheets. Okay. And now we have, if that's not enough, Festival of Lights. You're going to have to speak into this mic. That little guy right there.
Okay. This is new,
Don't walk too far away.
like
You don't have to
this?
put it on.
No.
You can just talk to it.
Oh, I see. Oh, good. Okay. Well, this is our first announcement about the Festival of Lights, which we don't want to forget.
Yeah?
It's going to come up in December. But what we're doing now is creating a coordinating team to lead it. And we have two of us so far. We have Juanice Reyes and myself, Diane Vaux. And we need others of you who would enjoy the overview approach. Meeting periodically for lunch and having fun as we meet and coordinate. So we are looking for two people that would like to join us. And that's what I'll say right now. Later we will say more. Okay.
No doubt about it.
And if you're so inclined, please see me or Juanice. Thank you.
And if that wasn't enough,
I've got one
oh,
thing.
Pam's got one, but you got your own mic. Hold on a second, Pam.
Okay.
Let me get this one. The Unity Singers are going to reform, and sometime in the next couple of weeks, if you're interested, see Claire, and we'll make a couple more announcements and get a time that will be regular so that people can drop in and let their voices be heard. And then on a Sunday, we'll let our voices be heard again.
And I have a request. Our beloved Kathleen Waldron is at Victoria Place now, and she has kind of limited energy for tons of visitors, and she hasn't been able to come in person, but she's missing everybody and wants to be connected, and she's got a birthday coming up on July the 25th, and she would love to have some cards. So if you all will bring birthday cards, celebration cards to let Kathy know how much she's loved and is still in our midst, even though physically she's a little distance away. I'll put a basket on top of the piano next Sunday with her name on it. So bring your cards. I'll gather all of them up and then deliver them to her so she can open them on or around her birthday. So cards for Kathleen.
As we get ready to form a circle, we got sign-up sheets for all sorts of things. There's the picnic. We need volunteers for the Festival of Lights. We've got bakers for the garage sale. And so there's lots going on. So avail yourself. Lots of hands make light work. So, and it's great fun. With that, let's create a circle.
All right? Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every breath I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. The light of
God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Go forth blessed and blessing. You are loved. Woo!
Can you get me back on? Oh, yeah, I go. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we're going to bring a chipper in and clean up a whole bunch of brush. We had the trees dropped over here alongside the building that have been getting into our HVAC system. So anyway, if anybody has nothing to do after 10 o'clock tomorrow, till we get it done, tomorrow, Monday, yeah. And if you don't feel up, that's okay. If we've got 3 or 4 guys, we could use a couple more helping hands. We'll be using loppers, chainsaws, and other implements of destruction, so be aware. You're welcome to join in.